So this is a map of Germany today. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, you can see where Germany exists in terms of Europe. And if you look closer in at the big map, you can see that there are a lot of countries that share a border with Germany. So it's no surprise that the history of the unification of Germany has a lot to do with foreign relations and military conflicts. So this map shows you what Germany, as we know it today, looked like in 1815. Germany didn't exist. It was broken up into 39 independent states or kingdoms that operated on their own. And the German states stretched from the Baltic Sea in the north to the Alps, the mountain range, in the south, and from the Rhine River in the west to the Russian Empire in the east. This was a massive expanse of land. And the two strongest and biggest German states were Prussia and Austria. Because the German states remained divided, they were economically disadvantaged compared to the strong industrialized nations of Great Britain and France. The German states were also full of social and political divisions, as well as tension between a large Protestant and Catholic population. In 1815, following the Napoleonic Wars, the Congress of Vienna created a German Confederation as a buffer or protection against future French expansion. This was the first major step towards German unity and established closer economic ties between the German states, helping to pave the way for greater political union. This map shows the boundaries of German territories as of 1815. Now, they were not united as a country. They just formed a loose connection called the German Confederation. There was a lot of tension and headbutting that occurred during the time of the German Confederation. And the German Confederation basically connected the states with an assembly that had representatives from each of the German states. They would meet together in the city of Frankfurt and discuss economic issues. Austria dominated the assembly, and they often ran into conflict with Prussia. Remember, Austria and Prussia were the strongest, the largest, and the wealthiest of all the German states. In 1834, the German states formed a Zollverein, or an economic union, with the goal of reducing trade barriers between the states to promote economic prosperity. In 1861, William I became the King of Prussia. He believed in a strong military, which many people in the German states disagreed with. William I appointed Otto von Bismarck as his prime minister. Bismarck embraced the policy of realpolitik, which is the right of a nation-state to pursue its own advantage by any means, including war. Otto von Bismarck had big plans for Prussia, and he basically came up with a three-step plan. What he wanted to do first was to raise money to expand the Prussian army. Then, he wanted to use Prussia's military to reduce the power of Austria. Remember, Austria and Prussia were rivals. They were the biggest and most powerful of all the German states, and it was assumed that either Prussia or Austria would ultimately take control of a unified Germany. Bismarck's final step in his plan was to unify all of the German states, except for Austria and Switzerland, under Prussian control. As Bismarck is building up Prussia's military, we see that Austria and Prussia eventually go to war in an event that's known as the 7 Weeks' War. It happened in June of 1866, and it's known as the 7 Weeks' War because Prussia won and defeated Austria in just 7 weeks. And when Prussia won, they created a North German Confederation in 1867, and Austria was not included in the Confederation. And the way that this confederation worked was that each German state could manage its own domestic affairs, but national defense and foreign policy for all the states were controlled by Prussia. This map shows you the area of the North German Confederation, which was controlled by Prussia after the 7 Weeks' War. And once again, the North German Confederation was formed in 1867. We can see that Austria is located to the south of the Confederation and is not included in the group. Bismarck, however, was not happy with just having a North German Confederation. If you look on this map, you see the areas of Württemberg and Bavaria. They represented South German states that were Catholic. They were not part of Prussia's empire, but Bismarck wanted them to be. In order to get control of those southern Catholic states of Bavaria and Württemberg and consolidate Prussian power, Bismarck used a trick. He published a telegram that made it look like the Prussian king, William I, insulted the French ambassador. And because the French were insulted, they declared war on Prussia, and the southern German states were forced to choose whether they're going to fight with Prussia or with France. Well, they decided to fight with Prussia, and when Prussia won the war against France, they kept control of the southern states. With the defeat of the French, the German states supported unification under Prussia, and on January 18, 1871, William I assumed the title of Kaiser, or Emperor, of a united Germany. Bismarck became the German Chancellor, or Chief Minister, and this new empire united 25 German states into one federal union. The Kaiser headed the national government, could make appointments, command the military, and determined foreign policy.